Hey there. Welcome to Season 3 of Meet Me in Tennessee. This is your go-to podcast, so they say, for all things East in the volunteer states. Join us as we explore the stories and people behind the hidden gems, vibrant cities, and breathtaking landscapes. We've got you covered. That's right. Our director, she has the script for me. I'm going to try to follow it. I'm Lara.
And I'm Jenna. I can't wait to see these breathtaking landscapes you're going to tell me about.
Takes my breath away.
Wait, back to this.
Oh.
As always, which for this time, it's our first time, but for future episodes, we'll also be here. We're at Maypop Studio in the heart of downtown Johnson City, and we really can't wait to explore this area with you, introduce you to people and places and more landscapes.
You know, this is my first time in this space at Maypop. It's really cool.
It is
like,
really
it
cool.
makes me feel like I'm hip.
Yeah.
Which we know is not true, but put yourself in the space and
posers.
It helps, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a really fun guest today, and we're excited to introduce you to him soon. But since we're new to the podcast, we're new hosts, we wanted to introduce ourselves a little bit. So Lara and I are both not originally from Tennessee, but have made this our home. I've been here about 11 years. Lara's been here
Longer than 11 years, but I'm also quite a bit older than Jenna.
No, she's not.
I've been here since 2001. I was just a baby.
Let's see, what was I doing
Just
in
a
2001?
baby.
I'm not even going to tell you what I was doing in 2001.
know what you were doing in 2001 and the fact that I was graduated from college and starting my career
I think I was...
in Tennessee. Meet me in Tennessee, and I've met a lot of people in Tennessee. So.
Me too. And we've done that a lot through just what we've done in our career paths here. Interestingly enough, neither of us started in the tourism industry, but it's where we've landed for our careers, and we're so grateful for it.
Yes.
But we both have kind of similar backgrounds where we both started in broadcast news, right? That's what brought you here.
Television news is what brought me to
This face is on the TV.
Tennessee.
Yep. Mine was just behind the computer, but we both started in broadcast.
All are required, though,
Yes,
for the
all are
business.
required.
Right.
Yeah. And then did a little bit of that. We are also both have the same maiden name, so we could be sisters, maybe related.
We're the
somehow.
Moore
Cousins.
sisters.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Now Potter and Lafever, but Moore sisters still works.
That's right.
But yeah, so we're both in the tourism industry now. You've been at Visit Kingsport for...
So I've been at Visit Kingsport, which is the tourism arm underneath the umbrella of the Kingsport Chamber. I've been there since 2007, so I'm not great at math, but like 17 years, something along those lines, 17, 18
Journalism
years.
majors, not math.
Right?
We don't know.
So, but yeah, it's because of my television path, took me into this tourism world that has now brought us to the couch that we sit on today.
And
Similar
now you
for
can
yourself,
meet us
right?
here in Tennessee.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Started in
Meet
Johnson.
me here in Tennessee,
Just
not
you?
us, apparently. That's
Just
what
her.
our director says.
Meet me or meet her, but not the two of us together. That's just a fact. Yeah, started at Johnson City, WJHL, and then again, that path led me to some Chamber of Commerce work, which opens up so many doors. There's so many people you meet through that.
Right.
And now I work at Bristol Motor Speedway, which is a lot of fun.
And I still get to work with Jenna through that world. So thankful that we have been able to remain connected. But I need to let the people know if they're like, but wait, I remember those ladies. I feel like we have some fans out there. The Lara and
There's
Jenna
at least 10. My mom's one of them.
Escape to Tennessee fan club. So back during the pandemic,
we had it 4 years ago.
right?
Been a minute.
Right. It has been a minute. But during that time, we were looking for ways to get people out and still
Safely.
visiting, but safely.
Yes.
So we did have just a very short stint of a programming called Escape to Tennessee. So just in case you were wondering. And
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Not a big deal.
check it out. Looked a little younger, but
Yeah. COVID aged us.
the new us.
Pandemic aged us.
New us, and now meet me in Tennessee. But quickly, tell people where you're originally from. Where's home originally?
Oops. Sorry if I messed up that mic there. South Carolina girl originally. Gamecock.
That's right.
We lost fans just now.
It's
viewers
okay.
are
It's
logging
okay.
off. No. Grew up in Greer, the Greenville upstate area of South Carolina. Went to school in Columbia, and then right after college came here to Johnson City, and I've been here ever since. And now I live in Irwin, Tennessee, with my husband and our 2 puppies.
Love it.
And I know.
Love it.
Well, tell me
So
about you.
also not originally a Tennessee girl. I'm originally a Kentucky girl. So as we continue to drop viewer and listeners, we I am in Kentucky Wildcats. I did go to a small state school. I did not go to the University of Kentucky, but growing up in Kentucky, just east of Lexington, I am true blue, baby. It's just the way you were raised.
That's right.
To be a Wildcat fan, even through the highs and the very, very, very deep lows.
Yes, we've
In
experienced
the
it
athletics
often.
world. So anyway, just to give a brief history, but I've been here since 2007. My husband, our 2 dogs, and life is fantastic.
And we love it here, and we can't wait to make you come visit us and love it here too.
Yes.
So I think that's enough about us. You know, we
For-
could go on. We could
for
go on.
today.
Yeah.
For today. I think the people are here for, I mean, we do have guests.
We do have a guest.
We do have a guest.
And he's impatiently waiting, so thank you. We are joined today by Chris Stipo. He is from our favorite airport, the Tri-Cities Airport. He's the ops manager there, and so much falls under that operations umbrella. So we're excited to talk to him about what he does there and also just learn about what he loves about our region.
Yeah.
So, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. So we've sat here and talked about ourselves and our personal lives. So I think we should start with Chris's story outside of work. So let's start with personally, who is Chris? Where's Chris? Are you originally from Tennessee?
You're going to keep
No.
referring to him. Where's Chris from, Chris?
Where's Chris from, Chris? Go for it.
Yeah, I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Was born in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
And have lived in Jacksonville, Florida, San Antonio, Texas, Asheville, North Carolina, Cincinnati, Ohio. So I've been a bit all over.
Chris, you're a young fella. That's a lot of it's
Yeah.
a lot of travel.
Yeah.
and moving in a lifetime.
Yep. Yeah, and it's most of the moving's been since I've been working, graduating college. So all in the past 7 years.
And how long have you been here in
A little over
Johnson?
2 years.
Okay. So still fairly new to the
So fairly
area.
new, Still
Yeah.
experiencing it.
Okay, so what's the school? And so you did when you graduated from college. So tell us about your college background, your degree. What was that? What was the focus?
My bachelor's degree was in aviation management from Jacksonville University in Jacksonville, Florida. And I have my master's degree in business administration from the University of North Carolina at Pembroke.
Okay.
Cool.
And what was the first job out of school? Where'd you go?
I went to San Antonio, Texas, so
It was hot.
halfway across the country, and worked in
Wow.
airport operations at a small joint use airport. One side is Lackland Air Force Base, and the other side was civilian, and I was on the civilian side. But like any Air Force base, see a lot of cool things when the military.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So, what led you to moving up through the aviation world? Got you to Tri-Cities Airport. Talk to us about how you ended up here.
Yeah, so in the aviation world, I mean, most cities have one airport. So if you need to move up or move on, it's to a whole new city. So it's pretty common in the aviation industry to move around a bit at the start until you get into more a management position and settle down some. So that's where I am now.
That's
is
right. So we got you
settling
for a
down
little
here.
while.
Yeah, it got me here. So, and, when this job came open when I was in Cincinnati, I mean, living in the Asheville area for a few years, close to there, similar in ways. So it's a good spot for me to come.
You must be good at what you do because you've gotten here fairly quickly, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. And operations manager too. So went up the ranks to
Yep.
now you manage the whole operations department. Is that
Yep. Yeah, which is just me, but
okay?
it's,
Hey, small.
But guess what? You manage it.
yeah,
That's
I
right.
imagine, yeah. So I've been working at the small airport in San Antonio. Asheville, when I started there, was a smaller airport than it is now. And then going to an airport like Cincinnati, which is a much larger airport, you experience quite a bit when you're at smaller airports. Because it's small, like any small business, you do a lot of things that you didn't necessarily know you were signing up for.
Wearing all the hats.
Yep,
Yes.
wearing all the hats. It gets a little bit more specialized at a bigger airport, but with more people coming through an airport, the problems increase.
So, before we get too much further into the specifics of your job, maybe we should talk a little bit about our airport,
Yeah.
our
Yes.
Tri-Cities Airport.
love
So
it.
I was getting ready this morning, and I was hearing the, fly local, fly tri, the whole campaign and the importance of that. But just talk to us a little bit about the Tri-Cities Regional Airport for folks that maybe just aren't familiar or haven't flown through our airport before.
Yeah, so the Tri-Cities Airport, we've got 3 airlines. We've got American, which flies to Charlotte and Dallas. We've got Delta, which flies to Atlanta. And we've got Allegiant, which flies to Orlando and Tampa, Florida. So we've got a pretty good mix. Allegiant being the cheaper option, gets a little bit more tourism, people going out, American and Delta being more business related. In the aviation world, I mean, just trying to grow an airport is the ultimate goal because the airport's doing well, the community's usually doing well, and people can fly in and out, increases everything. So the airport's working very hard on trying to get either new airlines or additional service on the current airlines we have.
Building on that, how does this community help to make that happen, to continue growth at Tri-Cities Airport?
Yeah, so the airlines look at it as they look at passenger numbers, they look at demographics, they want us to capture the market. So right now, I don't think it's a secret for many people that we have 2 very large airports in the nearby area that capture a lot of the people here. So when people do go to the other airports, the airlines look at it as, well, we already got those people, why would we come to try? So our goal is to try to entice people to stay in the area to help get those numbers up, which then helps convince an airline to come in and expand service to the area.
And I can say from experience, flying out of those nearby ones in Tri-Cities Airport, it is the best experience you're going to have getting out and like onto a plane. It's lower traffic, and now you sometimes might get in a little line every now and then, but it's so much easier just to get there, get checked in, go through security, get on the flight, and everyone there is so friendly. It's really worth staying here and flying out of our
Well, so when we travel for personal or professional, I'm always telling people in my sales world, Tri-Cities is the most convenient airport that you will ever fly in
Parking's
and out
easy,
of.
yes.
Oh my gosh. And the fact that you can still come and pick me up at the front door of where I'm, so I get off the plane, right? Sometimes my luggage is even going to beat me off of the plane. I pick up my luggage, and my husband is right outside the door, parked, and no one's driving by, honking the horn, telling them to move on.
Oh yeah, there's just a level of
convenient.
Anxiety sometimes, like in bigger airports, where you're just like, because everyone's honking and rushing, and
oh my gosh,
that's not
so convenient, and it's just, I always choose to fly Tri for what that's worth, but it is important for people locally to remember to do that.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct. And us being a smaller airport, the staff, the different companies, tenants at the airport all know each other. So that service also becomes where if we have a passenger that say their bag has an issue getting to the baggage claim, well, bigger airport might not be able to go talk directly to the person that handled the bag. We're here. We
Amen to that. Yes.
Help out this more. And then the fact you get off the plane and you're a few thousand feet from your car at that point. So you can be in and out in 5-10 minutes when you get off the flight.
So you are trying to tell that story, trying to get that message out.
That's correct, that it's a local airport, small airport, but much easier to fly through than, say, some of the other options that are out there at the moment.
Yeah, and the direct flight to Dallas has been a game changer.
Yep.
That's because that came on, when did that?
I want to say it was around 2018.
Yeah, it's fairly new.
One of the more popular flights, especially with the business community, because you go to Dallas, you've got connections to the whole U.S. If you're going out west, if you're going to Asia, Dallas is a very convenient spot to stop in on that route.
Yeah.
So let's come back to your specific duties.
Yeah.
What does Chris do on the daily?
Yeah, so my main responsibility is airfield compliance, dealing with all the different FAA regulations, pretty much making sure that when you get on your airline flight or in your personal private plane that you're able to take off and land safely every day, whether that's the lights we have on the airfield, make sure the pavement's in good condition. If it's snowing, make sure the snow's been cleared off for everyone, dealing with wildlife at the airport as well. And then on the smaller side, dealing with the planning and development, so helping decide, where a new taxiway might go, where a new parking lot might go in the future to help stimulate some of that growth. And then, smaller airport, as things come up, recently helped write an HR policy, something that I didn't quite know what I was signing up for when I came here, but it's a good experience and part of the small community.
Everybody has to step in.
Yep.
But it makes it worth it at the end,
So I know you've probably seen some crazy things at the airport. There's always something.
Yep.
So tell us about, something crazy that's happened.
I've seen some crazy outfits.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I love the feel that it's roll up in straight up pajamas. Respected. I'm a leggings girl, but when they show up in just pajamas,
I don't like to fly in makeup for what that's worth.
No.
I wouldn't have makeup on today if the director hadn't made us.
She made us.
Hey.
She said we had to.
Right,
she didn't.
Be looking presentable.
Beautiful no
Be
matter
looking
what.
presentable. But
enough about her makeup. Chris.
I've been flying a stressful time for everyone. Some people do come to the airports, they're stressed because they're flying, but they got to find a parking spot. They got to figure out where their ticket counter is, figure out where their gate is, go for security. So you do run into some interesting situations with that. But outside, I guess, for the normal passenger scenes, interesting things that happen, crazy things. When it's snowing, we've got big brooms going up and down the runway the whole time. We're out there harassing wildlife because, as you can imagine, birds and planes don't mix very well. So we try to keep them out of the path as much as possible.
Have you seen other things? Have you seen a bear?
Not at this airport,
Okay.
but we've had foxes, we've had turtles we found on the runway, which
That you
And you
moved
saved
off
them?
of the runway, right?
Yep,
Thank
we
you.
relocate them or
Turtle on a fence post
Yeah.
situation, how to get there.
He put it there.
put it there. Yep. And then with the foxes, we found we trap them and then relocate them elsewhere off the airport because the fox airport's not the greatest place for a bunch of foxes to be
And
running
they're probably
around.
scared.
Yep, and they're scared too. So
Wow,
that's
yeah.
an interesting part there is finding that wildlife, trapping it, and then relocating it elsewhere.
I need to know, are there discussions about the crazy things that you'll find people try to go through security with?
Yeah,
I don't know if you can tell us, but I sure would love to know some of the things
Well, they
people
put
try
up
to.
those signs sometimes too at airports where it's like, this was confiscated on
know,
this
right?
date.
yeah. I mean, recently the big push has been firearms. People, forget they have a firearm in their bag, and
Like you do.
Really?
Like
Yeah,
you do.
which you can fly with firearms if you check them properly and
Correct.
store 'em, but these are people going through the checkpoint with firearms that may or may not be loaded sometimes, which is always a little nerve-wracking. That's probably the craziest thing is firearms coming in.
I accidentally, I just tell on myself. I went through one time and put my backpack to go right through the belt. And then I got checked and all the things. I got fully checked and all my bags
pat
got
down.
fully checked. And I had a wine opener
Oh.
in my backpack.
So, and I get so nervous when they call you to the side. I'm like, I know there's nothing bad in my bag. Like I've had a bottle of water, which you can't take unless it's empty. And they stopped me, pulled me over. And
Oh, I feel like a criminal
yes.
immediately.
I'm like, what have I done? What do I have in there? And I know
Right.
it's like, it's not a gun. It's not a knife. It could be
Yeah.
a wine opener.
But it's enjoyable for TSA when because they have a rough idea what's in there. When they open your bag, I mean,
They want to see your reaction.
it's kind of an unknown for them and you. What are they going to find? So.
Sometimes a curling iron could look kind of scary. in
That's
that, but-
fair. But I did tell them they could keep the wine opener. It even said, visit Kingsport on it.
You're like, promo item.
Branding.
Welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Spread the news.
I just wondered if that was a topic of discussion because I feel like it would be.
Yeah, it is every now and then, but luckily here we don't have too many crazy things that come through. It's just firearms is a big thing. That's been an issue across the whole country, not just necessarily specific to here.
Yeah.
I'm also very guilty of at our airport because it's so convenient. I show up really late.
See, I still
Tell
try
us
to get
what
there
not
early
to
enough.
do.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been guilty of it. I've woken up an hour before my flight before and got to the airport and made the flight.
Chris.
Ooh,
But
he's risky.
Flying dangerously.
flying dangerously. But the one thing of us being a small airport, the people when you go to the ticket counter to check in are also the same people that are going to be forwarding your bag on the plane when it's here. So usually about 40, 45 minutes before the flight, those people leave. So you need to carry on a bag. You're still probably you can make it in. But if you're checking a bag,
See, that's the
you're kind of out of luck at that
carry
point.
on's the way to go. Now, if I'm going for long enough, I'll check a bag. You probably are at the full 50-pound mark too, aren't you? Yours
Well,
like
it just
stuff.
depends on how long my trip is. I've gotten better over the years with more travel, work travel involved. I've learned how to.
I love it. Just a
better
carry-on and a backpack, and I'm done. But the only thing with the carry-on is the cut, like the toiletries.
Yes,
I hate the little body.
Yeah,
I get it,
know.
but that's the only part that's tough.
I know.
So you talked about discussions on things that you see that might be crazy, TSA. What about like future growth of Tri-Cities Airport? Are there discussions around what that might look like? New,
Yeah, so we're in the process of it's the airport master plan. Every 10 years we're required to do one, and it's a 10, 15, 20-year study. So things such as, do we build another runway to support our current ones? Do we expand the concourse or add extra gates to support every aircraft? But in the near future, this fall, we're hoping to start on a parking lot where our current employee lot's 100 spots. We're going to expand it to about 430 spots, be mixed use, so more parking options for passengers. And also, when another airline does come in, we now got the parking to park all those people
Right.
that hopefully show up. We're going to expand our main taxiway, which is what people use, or the aircraft use to get from the runway to the ramp, bump it out so we can expand the concourse in the future to support more gates at the airport as well.
I love hearing all these positive things that you're like, when this happens.
When
Because
it's
it's gonna.
happening, yeah.
It's gonna. I'm very excited to see it happen.
Well, and there's been so many people that have moved here in the last handful of years too. I think
Right.
we're on like, I don't even know how many lists anymore of like best places to retire, to move
Right.
to. So has that changed a lot of things
That's
at the
changed,
airport
yep.
too?
And then a lot of getting an airline is airlines, like any business, don't like risk. So it's been before COVID, but COVID's really prompted it as they want a revenue guarantee. So when they fly in, they want say throw out $1 million, or if they don't make $1 million, they want someone to give them the difference,
Right.
which is unfortunate as the airport.
It's a gamble.
Yeah, it's a gamble, but the airport legally can't be involved with that.
Right.
So we've got some recent developments with the local community to help with some of that, which will hopefully and should help get some more growth. And then with some of the new people moving in as well, there's extra demand now to markets that we usually don't have demand to.
We talked a lot about the commercial piece of it, but there is a private aviation.
Aviation?
Thank you. Privation. Just put at Tri-Cities. Talk a little bit about the private aviation piece, because I know a lot of people never get to experience that side of the world.
Yeah, the private aviation can range from someone in just their little 4-seater plane doing flight training all the way up to the billionaire flying in on their $40 million.
We'll be on
jet.
that one.
Can we get on that one? It's kind of like being on my yachts.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the airlines and stuff, I mean, it's the average person usually flying in. But with the private stuff, you start to get some unique individuals, especially around race time at the airport during the 2 times a year for that. So you get all the teams coming in, the drivers, the celebrities that come of that. The past race, we had Michael Jordan flying in his plane, which is very interesting to see as well.
So were you around?
I was around, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he
Were you
parked.
in a tower somewhere watching, or
On the ground, like, hey, sir.
No, I was
what's up, Mike?
peering through a window looking at him. But
What a drone.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool when those people come in as well. And then we also have the ability of our airport to support even larger aircraft, such as potentially presidential visits as well coming in. We also have in the past had, one of the large Russian planes. It's one of the larger ones in the world come in and load, I think it was 8 helicopters onto the plane. So
Oh, that's cool.
That's huge.
huge, massive planes. So different, unique things. Our airport is big enough to handle any pretty much type of aircraft that we could possibly imagine flying into the airport.
No idea.
And if you need like a welcoming committee ever for celebrities, or
I know that was running through
if
your
you
mind.
want
just
us to
now.
say, hey, MJ, meet me in Tennessee. Meet me.
Just her.
Meet me.
Right. And depending upon who else it is,
I'll
then
take
they
you to the
can
track.
meet me.
When
Yeah.
it comes to the next race, maybe if I run into him, I can drop the podcast.
I feel certain that you'll run into him and he could come be on the podcast.
right.
Yeah, maybe he'd be interested.
Right?
We could probably get some sponsorship around that.
I know. I feel certain. Oh, write that down.
We're going to need just a quick ride in your plane. Don't mind us.
Right. So I did fly in a 4-seater one time. Just a quick story out of the private aviation at Tri-Cities. I have trouble saying private aviation. I'll never do that again. It had nothing to do with the airport, everything to do with the plane.
Yeah.
But I did fly from here to Kentucky with a friend of mine that he flew me on his, I don't know why my parents let me do.
Yeah, I'd be a little nervous about that. I honestly get nervous even in the very back of a plane. There's something about just,
That's
I'm a
because
little
she's used to
claustrophobic.
flying first class.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
It's like a vehicle. The large SUV on the road's not going to necessarily feel the pothole the same way as the smaller plane. So
Right.
in the air, there's turbulence. A
fair.
airline
Yeah.
Yeah.
might be able to fly through it fine, but in your 4-seater, you're going to feel it a little bit
Right.
more than.
Thanks for making that make sense for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. We need you to really just dumb it down for us to get it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good without flying on the 4-seater, but yeah.
But I did it.
But it is neat that all that
survived.
happens there. And I do think like most people don't realize that
Yeah,
all
we
those
have a
other
flight
activities
school for
happening.
Flight training, so you could go out and learn how to fly a plane at the airport if you so desire to. We also have Northeast State has a maintenance program through their community college, so you could come learn how to maintain a plane, fix a plane, anywhere from the small 4-seater to the Air Force One size planes.
Is that a pipeline for you guys? Do you guys like hire from that program and like or I don't know if you.
The airport itself doesn't, just because we don't have any aircraft maintenance, but we do
Okay.
have tenants on property that do hire staff
That's cool.
from the community college as they come
You've
from.
got quite a few hangars
Yep.
that have planes stationed there.
Yeah, we've got everything from the private individual that owns their $40 million jet. Eastman's also on property. Is probably a well-known one for the community.
Yes.
We also have an interesting group called Y-Song that does helicopter rehab. I kind of call them like a Pimp My Ride for helicopters. Where
That was a good show.
Yes.
That was a fun show.
A great reference. Yeah.
But they'll get the
I want to see
helicopter.
these helicopters.
Yeah.
And they'll do whatever you want. So they'll do news helicopters, police put the spotlight, the camera, put the bed for a medical flight. So they're a very interesting business, and they also hire people from Northeast State as well.
That's cool. Do they put in like, like in Pimp My Ride, like the refrigerators that came up from the floor and the
If
fog?
you wanted it, they'd probably find a way to make that happen for you.
That was such a funny show.
Right. I want to see one of these helicopters just to get a feel for what that looks like. I don't want to ride in it.
Yeah.
I assure you.
No.
I've done those tours before, like
I haven't.
where, oh no. Well, I won't do it again at this age. I'm just a big chicken now, but.
Yeah, Northeast State's an example of how the local community, because they get local students that come in, and it ends up benefiting the community in the long run because it helps support current businesses. And then it's also a good selling point as we try to get future businesses to come in, that there's a direct pipeline of local people that can work for you.
Such a tie with economic development.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we understand that in our world too, of all the efforts to bring in new business requires the partnerships between tourism, the attractions, and the airport. So look at us all being friends and and partners. We make
And everyone's better together. Like when you work together,
That's
everything
exactly right.
benefits.
I mean, events like the race, benefit the airport, not just from the growth from the race, the flights that come in, but also it puts the name out there. I mean, you get the race teams flying in and they go, well, that was a cool place. Or you get some tourists flying in for the race that goes, well, we recently had the pickleball tournament in Bristol and had quite a few travelers, not only domestically, but internationally. And we've got people, coming in going, wow, it's a cool airport, cool place.
A couple of times a year, we have some folks that are coming in internationally. And so I always like to ask those folks, like we just hosted a huge underwater robotics competition in Kingsport. And so we had high schoolers and college-age kids coming in from all over the world, a large contingency from China or from the Asia area. And so I would say, so did you fly into Tri-Cities? And they did. I was excited to hear that.
Yeah, we had quite a few of them coming in, and that was, it's always interesting, especially seeing international travelers. We don't get too many, especially from China, of all places, coming in. But it's a good thing with our airlines is you can get a Charlotte, Dallas, or Atlanta, and you're one stop from pretty much the whole world at that point from those cities.
That Dallas flight makes it a lot easier to get to the West Coast than it used to be.
Yes. And from LA. So if he wants to go back to, where he was born, get there in just a couple of flights.
Right. Do you still have family in LA?
No,
Changing directions.
no.
Yeah. But sorry.
No, so the reason we were out there is my dad worked for the LA Dodgers, and
oh, that's neat.
so was born
Chris,
out.
you left out that part of the story, man.
So is that your team? Are you a Dodgers?
Yeah, I'm a Dodgers fan because of that. And then we moved to Charlotte because he ended up working for the Charlotte Hornets, and as you can imagine, it's quite a bit cheaper to live in Charlotte than it is in LA. That's where we were growing up the whole time, was in Charlotte.
Very cool. Yeah. And I grew up a Hornets fan too. Anything around like the Carolinas, like Charlotte Hornets, Atlanta Braves, who else? I guess Panthers. I was Panthers. I'm not huge on NFL.
This is a great spot for me here too, because Charlotte's not too far away. So even though this is a small area and has most of what you need, if you did need to go to a bigger market for some reason, or such as me visiting family, those cities are also close. So this is a convenient spot.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, do you have any more airport questions? I want to hear about what he loves about Tennessee. And
so I do have, no airport questions. That was great though.
Yeah.
But is there any, let's start there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well, we have our director.
We're still doing this.
Yeah.
So what else is there that your boss would want you to say sitting in that chair today before we change directions
I think
completely?
I got it all out there. Talked about future growth at the airport, how the community can really help. And it is the community's airport. So the community shapes the airport based on where the people want to go is where flights are going to go. We're not going to launch a flight to Shanghai if we don't have the demand to go to Shanghai. It'd make more sense to go to Fort Lauderdale or Chicago, which Chicago is an interesting one because we have a grant for that to help give that revenue guarantee. So awesome. Chicago one that is heavily in the works and has a very high chance of happening, and we're hoping for the next year or two to have some positive news for everyone.
People that don't live in our world and talking about this type of thing every day just don't understand. And that's not anything other than we need to try and educate them. So like my friends at the gym, like whenever they're booking flights, they're like, oh, well, we're flying out of beep.
Yeah, don't even say it.
Right. And I'm like, so why? So when you land and then you have hours to drive home, is it worth it?
Yeah.
And so then I do try to take the opportunity to tell the story of why you should fly out of Tri.
Yeah.
And just how that benefits all of us.
And I feel like there's I take pride in our airport.
Right.
Because it is so special and sweet and easy and just a great experience. And if everyone felt that way, it would help us.
They just don't know. I think they just don't know. Because they'll be like, well, I didn't even think about the fact that if I'm not using the airport, that it's not going to help us get any additional flights. Because we'll be like, well, why aren't we flying to Chicago? Why aren't we?
Yeah.
well, why aren't you flying dry?
Right.
There's different factors too. I mean, while it might be cheaper maybe to go to some of the airports, but in the end, parking's more expensive at those airports. You have to
Driving
drive
there.
Yes, friends.
Yeah.
a few hours. You might have to get a hotel the night before if your flight's early. So in the end, it is usually comparable or even slightly cheaper just to fly out of the
Do the
local
math.
airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the
Do
math.
the mash.
See, this
Do
is what
the
you
math.
get.
Don't do priviation and
Right.
fly try. That's the takeaway.
Okay, Chris. Favorite college team? Do you have one?
Probably University of North Carolina, the college I went
I
to.
knew it. I knew it was coming. We've covered North Carolina,
North
South Carolina,
Carolina, yeah.
Kentucky. Bye, guys. No,
Yeah.
But growing up in
Look, she's
Charlotte,
over there. Directors over there like, well,
it's just
she's like, wrap it. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, growing up in North Carolina, there's a lot of schools in North Carolina, but they're probably the biggest, most well-known. So that was the team growing up.
Yeah. And so now that you've been here for 2 years and you live in Jackson City, is that right?
Yep, yeah,
Okay.
very, very close to where we are right now.
So what do you do outside of work? What do you like to do? What do you...
Yeah, I mean, I like to go on runs and everything. I go hiking.
Good for you.
Yeah, not it for me.
Not
But
running.
So you like to run? Do you do like Tweetsy Trail? Where do you run?
Yeah, I'll do tweets. Usually I just stick to the streets, just running around, seeing the sights. A great way to explore a city. You just pick up, just don't even know where you're going. You just go until you're too tired to go any farther and then slowly walk back home.
You mentioned hiking.
Hiking, yeah, so Buffalo Mountain nearby. I mean, in 10 minutes, I'm at a large mountain to hike, so that's very convenient. And was part of the reason why I ended up deciding Johnson City is a location to live. And then I like coming down to downtown Johnson City. We've got a good, bar scene, breweries and everything, and there's usually something for the most part going on most nights of the week down here.
So we're foodies. We love food and we love a good drink too. So favorite restaurant in the region, in the area, favorite dish?
I guess I got to shout out Phil's Dream Pit over near Gray. I mean, that's close to the airport. And that's,
Right down the road from her house to Phil's
Yeah.
Dream Pit.
You know, I've never been there. I've never been there. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a authentic barbecue restaurant. Whenever we have, because the airport, we have, consultants and other people from outside of the community coming to visit very regularly. That's the spot we take them is Phil's Dream Pit. And that's usually a favorite location of the people as they come in. And then also Pal's, I know, is a kind of a chain. But
Like you're just like,
Iconic.
yeah, it's a local place. I mean, when I have friends or family come visit, Pal's is a spot that they want to go, which usually isn't the case. People usually don't want to go to the fast food restaurant, but
yeah, here you got
Pal's
to
is
get
iconic enough that they do.
cheddar rounds.
Right. So
Gotta have the
when
cheddar.
we're talking to visitors, first time visitors, and their window of time visiting is extremely brief, where should I go eat? Believe it or not, I'm telling them pals, and I'm like, listen, I know it's fast food, but this isn't like any other fast food that you'll ever get. But it is iconic. Yes, iconic to Kingsport, as that was the first location of Pals, but it's iconic to this region now. And people that leave, when they come back,
That's where they go.
Frenchy fry.
Yeah. And there's like Facebook groups like trying to get them to go to other cities.
Right.
Like Knoxville really wants a
Right.
Pals.
Oh, they do.
Sorry,
Can you
we're keeping
imagine
it.
University of Tennessee would keep that Pals in business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, when I first interviewed here and came to this area for the first time and you see Pals, it's kind of a, what is that type deal? I mean, I
'Cause
had
the
to stop
building-
there next to the building.
Yeah. For those who don't know, the building literally has a giant burger, hot dog, and French fry and drink. Is there a drink on the front?
No, I
Not drink?
Well, I can't remember.
Maybe.
I don't.
But it's
maybe.
bright blue
It's bright
too,
blue,
so it
yeah.
stands out and
Right.
kind of something you got to check
That
out.
1970s bathroom tile is the majority of the siding on this building with that glorious blue.
Yes.
But you notice it.
Yeah,
It
I
makes
mean,
you
it caught
slow
my
down.
mind, and I said I can't leave here till I stop and figure out what that place is.
Right.
I remember when I first moved here, I didn't go to Pals for like probably almost a year because I was like, I heard all these great things, but I'm like, if I like it, then I'm going to be tempted to keep going back and getting a burger and Frenchy fries. Anyways, I did it, and now I'm a regular.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah.
What's your order? Let's hear the order, and then I know we're close on
I
time.
get a big pile of cheese or a chili burger, large Frenchy fries, and a large Coke is usually my go-to.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's
I
incredible.
don't think I've ever
Yeah.
had the chili burger.
I
The chili
haven't-
burger is really good.
I have not. I've
Well,
had a
that
lot
is
of people
something
get
new.
right, and then I know there's a lot of special ordering you can do, but not to give Pals too much of a commercial, but it just is iconic.
Do you want to sponsor our show?
Just kidding. Call, little one.
Kind of.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you.
Yes. Thank you so
I
much.
hope
for
you have
joining us.
enjoyed your visit. We appreciate you joining us for our first episode of Meet Me in Tennessee.
We've learned a lot of just podcasting, and we're so glad to have you as our first guest. Thank you for your patience with us. and for sharing so much about what you do at the Tri-Cities Airport and also what you love about our region. So thanks for joining us.
Me.
So I'm supposed to now say
get it
that,
out.
well,
Get up
I'm not
script.
even going to look. I'm just going to
see if you mess it
just
up.
going to wing it. I know that we're supposed to encourage people to subscribe so that they can listen and or watch us.
Subscribe
on their favorite platform. I
thought you were gonna
on their favorite platform. Also check out northeasttennessee.org.
Yes.
Got it.
She got it.
Got it.
And be sure to share your favorite Tennessee stories with us using the hashtag #MeetMeInTN. So that's
You did
all.
great, my friend. I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah, we'll do it again soon. Don't forget to fly, try. Chris, thanks again for joining us.
And meet me, her,
Us.
us in Tennessee.